Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Super Bowl podcast, episode number 26, live from the GCU Recording Labs. My name is Braden Dorman. Alongside me, David Arnold, Harper Houck as always, and a very special guest from the GCU baseball team, senior second baseman, Dustin Crenshaw. Welcome in.
Thank you. That's a pretty elite intro.
That was really good.
Sorry, I must have taken your breath away there. But
one of the better intros we've had, for sure.
Sweet, yeah, cool. But hey, we're back on campus. First episode we're recording since we've been back from the break. These Tennessee fellows were gone for a bit. I was up in Washington, and you were stuck here in Arizona still because that's where you live.
Oh, yeah.
But nobody's ever really stuck in Arizona.
Yeah, I was about to say, stuck is the wrong word.
Yeah.
A lot of people choosing to live in Arizona nowadays.
But hey, quick, what was your favorite Christmas present?
Dang, there's a lot. I mean, got the new kicks right here. Shout out P448s.
Name the frame?
Not sure what a P448 is, but
they look good though.
Girlfriend got it for me. Thank you,
go.
girlfriend.
Shout out.
They feel good. They feel good.
Were you on Santa's naughty or nice list?
I gotta imagine nice. Still believe
Gotta
in Santa.
imagine.
You're not certain though.
Still believe in Santa. No, I'm certain. Santa's my guy.
Okay.
He's been my guy.
And in other news, David's the new Nike athlete as he taking over for Tiger Woods. So recently in the news, Tiger's out. Everybody probably wondering why. It's because David's taking over. So
yeah, just signed. Super excited.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, today we're excited to get into Dustin's story. He's got a good one, and a big season quickly approaching with the first series in mind, Georgetown. I know that's the one you're really thinking about, right?
Focuses on Georgetown.
Yeah. So Georgetown, Hoyas out there. I know you're watching. You're thinking about it because they're thinking about you. All right, but we're going to start this episode with a sports segment as we always do, and we're going to talk about the NFL playoffs because starting this weekend, pretty loaded field. I know there's some top-heavy teams that are looking good, but a lot can happen. Anything can happen once the playoffs start. So we're actually going to pick our entire bracket as a collective unit, and if there's a 2-2 tie, it's up to Dustin. And hey, you can stick with that original pick, but more than likely you will. But if you really feel a genuine argument that you can agree with, you can always switch that pick. So just to let you know that. But he will be the tiebreaker. But hopefully we'll just be unanimous across the board as always.
Well, so Dustin knows his stuff though.
Am I just judging who's got the best bracket?
No.
We're
gonna hopefully pick.
We're all going. We're making one together.
All right.
Last year we made one, and I don't think it went super great.
With
we had the Bucks winning it all.
Oh, wait, you're talking about our NFL.
Yeah, I think we had the Bucks winning it all versus the Bills.
Yeah, we just
didn't go so well.
Largely because of me. I was big on the Tom Brady train last year.
And your vote just continued to carry.
Yeah, it did.
It's crazy.
I had a lot
carry
of
weight
there. So
yeah.
Don't be easily swayed. You got this.
Yeah.
I'm a Bucks fan. Come on, go Bucks.
Hey.
Wait. Actually.
I'm a semi-Bucks fan. All right, I'll lay it out. I'll lay out my favorites. We got in first place the hometown team, the 4-12 Cardinals. They are my team.
Respect.
No matter what. Number 2, I'm sad about this. Sorry to all the viewers. Dallas Cowboys. My number 2. My number 3, 49ers, baby. Brock Purdy band. Let's go.
Okay.
And my 4, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You still live in Florida? Props to the
Bucks.
Hey, 3 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's cool. You got an 8th of the league to root for. So. Are you ever losing? I don't think so. Yeah, cool.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
I don't even know what to think about that. Let's just.
I'm sorry. I know.
Move along. Yeah. Well, first matchup, we'll start in the AFC. You get the 4-seeded Texans. Stroud's back and healthy, going up against the 5-seeded Joe Flacco-led Browns. David, start us off. What you got there?
Interesting matchup. I'm just kind of seeing it, just hearing it now, and really switching from college football to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go with my gut here. I'm gonna go with Joe. I got the Browns here. Apparently, Joe Flacco is him right now. So I haven't watched a ton of Browns games, but I mean, hey, we'll see if they're legit. I love Stroud, I really do, but I think rookie season, I don't know if he's built for the playoffs in this moment. Although he, about a year ago, he's in the college football playoff. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm just gonna lean Browns. Their defense is pretty solid. Go Browns.
No brainer. Come on,
Harper.
although Joe is very exciting, two things. I wish Deshaun was playing because it would be super cool for him to go back to Houston and the playoffs.
That's
the team that traded him.
Wow. Yeah.
There's so many of those. In
I don't know
playoffs.
if they'd be here with Deshaun, though.
That's what,
Joe Flacco, man.
I'll pass on Deshaun Watson for now.
Okay. So, I mean, there's just a lot of implications there. I think C.J. Stroud is not only the best rookie QB, but one of the best QBs in the league right now. He's super hot.
For sure.
I'm taking the Texans. I'm taking the young team at home. I'm excited for it.
I like it. That's good.
What you got?
Oh, you go.
He wants to be the
last.
Yeah.
I'll keep it short and simple. I'm going with the home team. I'm going with the Texans. I like Stroud here. Obviously, Flacco's played well. I don't know. I think Stroud's going to outplay him. I think that it's going to be a really close game. I think this will be one of the better games of the weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, give me the Texans.
You know what? This hurts. I'm a big Texans fan. In addition to the
another
other four.
Wow.
What?
I love Stroud. I love Tank Dell. I love the whole crew down there in Houston. But you know, it's a no-brainer, man. You got to go Joey Flacco. You got to
come on.
You got to go with the Browns.
Yeah.
The defense is killer.
Yeah, the defense is nice.
I'm sorry. I got to be the tiebreaker, but the Browns are going to take it. And it's going to be ugly, boys. It's going to be 31 to maybe 14, 17 at the most.
Goodness.
And didn't Amari Cooper torch them last time they played?
Yes.
That was his heyday, wasn't it?
Was it really?
A couple weeks back.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think it was against the Texans.
I did not realize. Oh, that was without Stroud, though.
Still.
I think.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting matchup. There's a lot of interesting
Is it
ones.
weird that I like the Texans more now that I heard they just lost to them like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah. No, I don't think it's weird.
I think it's hard to be a team twice.
Don't get it twisted. I'm not counting out the Texans. They're a great football club. The Browns are just killers.
They're killers.
Your fifth favorite team.
Who would have thought, though, in a world where Cleveland is killing people in football?
Right.
Believe
A few years, man, but Baker Mayfield, the dog pound, was not going so well.
Yeah.
But
all right, well,
now.
The Browns win. We took a long time on that one, so let's try to go a little quicker here because we have a lot of games to pick.
Sorry,
the next game is the Dolphins and the Chiefs. 3-seeded Chiefs hosting the Dolphins. We haven't even really gotten to sit down and talk about the collapse of the Dolphins, but here we are.
I'll go last on this one. You guys go ahead.
Okay. Start us off. Dolphins, Chiefs.
Mahomes.
Okay.
Great answer. Yeah.
That's it.
Dolphins aren't playing.
He said to go faster. So.
Love the Dolphins, but they're not playing well. Mahomes.
Okay. Well, I'll keep it short as well. Dolphins, they start off the year really well. If they look like they did beginning of the year, maybe they have the chance. The Chiefs aren't very overwhelming either right now.
No.
So we'll see who shows up, but I'm taking Arrowhead. I'm taking the home field advantage.
Yeah.
For sure.
Is Waddle playing? Do you know?
I think he will be, yeah. Him and Mostert should be back.
I actually think the Dolphins will win.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
This hurts me because I hate the Chiefs. I really hate the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, you got to be cut and dry. You got to go with the Chiefs. They don't lose in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Probably have, Mahomes probably has once or twice, maybe. So
it's Arrowhead.
But they are a different team this year. Kelsey's been shut down. When teams have been able to shut Kelsey down, they've had success. So I do think Dolphins can put up enough points to win. I don't think it really matters because our tiebreaker man over here already has clinched.
They do have the Butterfingers over there. The wide receivers.
Yeah, that is true. And I will say, Tyreek has fingers that haven't quite been working the best lately. I've seen a few drops from him that scare me a little bit. But look, I'm a Dolphins fan, okay? Am I happy that we lost to the Bills? No. No, I'm not. Again, we lose like every time to the Bills. But here's the thing. If we would have beat the Bills, we would have had to play the Bills in the exact same game, again, at home. I was pulling for a tie, for anybody wondering. Then we would play Pittsburgh. But since that did not happen, look, Mahomes is a great quarterback. I think he's going to bring it. But playoff Tua is about to be unleashed. And
oh, boy.
Which is why I'm still going with the Chiefs, actually. Okay, here's why. As a Dolphins fan, look, this hurts. But I'm picking the Chiefs because Tua in cold weather is not good. And this game's projected to be about 10 degrees in Arrowhead.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really like it for the Dolphins. I don't like the spot we're in. I don't feel like they have a lot of momentum. I hope I'm wrong. But I'm going with the Chiefs, actually.
All right, Chiefs win. Final AFC game, and it's interesting. They got the first 3 games of the weekend will all be AFC, and then we'll finish with the NFC. Steelers and Bills. The the gritty Steelers not only find a way to go with the above 500 season for 17 straight years under Mike Tomlin, but they get to 10-7, and they're hot right now. They're playing well. They've been running the ball well. They're playing the Bills, and that's where it ends, in my opinion. I'm going to go with the Bills to start us off.
You have to second that. I mean, props to Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nobody thought anything of them. Great season by them, but they're going to get torched.
All right.
Yeah, I think I want to piggyback off of you guys. Shout out Mike Tomlin just for doing this year in, year out. Different squads, different coaching staffs. He's the man, and he needs to be respected. But when you got Mason Rudolph starting for you in the playoffs against the hottest team in the NFL, I just yeah.
They've been winning games with them.
They have.
Crazy.
I don't know. And TJ Watt's out too, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah,
I just don't think there's any chance for Steelers, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, Christmas is already passed, so I think Rudolph's time's starting to dwindle here as we go into the new year. So I will be taking Buffalo. I think they're hot right now, and I think Josh Allen will at least win them this game.
So the Steelers will probably win because we're in unanimous Bills. That's usually what happens, but
Sure.
the Bills
You're welcome,
win.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Shout out Pittsburgh.
Sixth favorite team?
Love the Steelers. They beat the Cardinals in 08. Never forgive them for that.
James Harrison.
Never forgive them for that.
Yeah, that was a crazy game.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
All right, into the NFC. The Packers slide into the 7th seed. Harper and I got to attend the Seattle Seahawks-Cardinals game.
Yep.
He's a Saints fan. I'm a Seahawks fan. We both needed the Packers to lose to have a chance, and then it would have come down to that game.
Yep.
But the Packers did not lose. They won. They took care of business. They are in. They play the Cowboys. I think we should actually keep him last because he's the decider, and I like the drama.
Yeah.
You want to start us off here? Okay.
Sure. Kind of go off what you're saying. Packers being in kind of upsets me because I don't really think they're that deserving to get in. But I don't know how much better our Seahawks or Saints could have done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's no reason to be butthurt. I think Jordan Love's going to play really well. I think he's going to play really well this game and give Dak a run for his money. But I think this is the best roster that Dak has had at his disposal since being the starting QB in Dallas. And look, I know Dallas in the playoffs is a little different than Dallas in the regular season, but I think they at least advanced to this round. I got the Cowboys.
Okay.
Not so fast. Packers are gonna win. You heard it here first. I don't have much logic really for this. Look, Dallas in the playoffs, I think they're in their head a little bit. Like, oh man, it's the playoffs.
Agreed.
For sure.
We're definitely domed up.
Man, the whole world is thinking we're gonna lose. We better go out and win. I think Jordan Love's got some intentions to hand them an L, and I think he's going to play an awesome game.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be enough. I think it's going to be a close game, but
It goes to
I think the Packers.
2015, 2017.
Yeah. I think the Packers.
I see where that comes from. Valid.
I will go in a very close game. I'm going Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think they're going to squeak out of this one, and people are going to be like, it's the same old Cowboys.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens next round, but I think the Cowboys are good enough to win one game at least.
They should.
And I think they're also at their peak. They're good enough to do a lot of damage. But we'll see. I like them at home. They've been really good at home this year. CeeDee Lamb is the hottest man on the planet right now. Not physically, but just to clear that up.
Wow.
But that dude's putting up some serious numbers right now. Won a lot of fantasy leagues, and I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
Got to go with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So that's some good logic all around. But I mean, as a Dallas fan, you can't help but think back to 2015.
Is that Des Bryant year?
Might have been Rodgers. That might have been Rodgers clipping us at our place.
The sideline.
James Cook.
Little sideline.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forget what year it was. Might have been 13. Des Bryant.
Yes.
Still got nightmares about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the Tony Romo poster in my room. Des Bryant, Marion Barber. Still hurts. But gotta go Cowboys. Pledge my allegiance to the Star.
All right, Cowboys move on. Rams, Lions.
Ooh.
This one's gonna be a close one. I'm just speaking out loud here. These are good matchups. On paper, in my opinion.
For sure.
David, what you got?
Yeah, I'll keep mine short. Roar, Lions, roar, baby. Let's go. Detroit is here. They're going to have all the momentum, all the energy because, man, they in the playoffs. They're hosting a playoff game. Detroit's going to win this one handedly.
Whoa.
Motor City, baby.
Yeah, I don't think so. I want the Lions. I want the Lions to win. Let's let the record show. I want the Lions to win. Who's daddy? Matthew Stafford. That's his home, and he's coming back home, and he's not going to let Jared Goff push him out of there.
I don't know.
I think the Rams are super hot right now. Williams is playing well. What's his name? Puka Nacua. Yeah, he's a beast. Okay.
Yeah.
They're playing great, and I think the Rams are going to win this.
I also think the Rams are.
Can I burp on air or no?
You might as well now.
Totally, yeah. Totally up to you.
It's all good. It's all good. I shoved it down.
Hey, man.
All right.
It's the first person that's asked that here
Sorry
on
about
episode 26.
Sorry about that.
So 2 Rams,
Wait.
1 Lion.
Yeah, I'm going Rams.
Man, this
I didn't
hurts.
give reasoning, but yeah, I like it. Everything you said.
This hurts the heart here. Matt Campbell. Man, love that guy. Big fan of him. Dang.
This
Campbell? Hurts.
Dan Campbell?
Yeah, Dan Campbell.
No, you're a Matt Campbell guy because Ohio State brought Purdy, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he said that.
That's
I
on
got
me.
you.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell?
Yeah.
Dan Campbell. Love that guy.
We all know what you meant.
Yeah.
The Lions, the Motor City. Eminem's going to be in the house. All the things. It hurts, but I mean, my life's on the line, and I got to pick win the game. It's the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, man, that was great.
Daddy's back.
That was great.
All right. The Rams move on. Finally, in this first round, we are slowly moving here. Eagles Bucks. That is Monday night on ABC. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman here to call a game. I'm going to go with the Eagles just to start us off here. I know they're not doing well right now, but if they're healthy, and I'm just going to go out and assume Jalen Hurts is going to be okay to play. I haven't heard it otherwise. I think they're going to at least get this one.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens from there.
I second that.
Okay.
Eagles.
I'm going Eagles. Okay, well, I think this is going to be the grittiest game of the weekend. I think both teams kind of just slid into the playoffs. I mean, the Eagles were 11-1 at one point, and now they're 11-6, 11-5.
They've lost a lot of ball
they're
games.
11-6.
And they have a lot of injuries. Jalen Hurts, he hurt his middle finger. I actually have the Bucks here because I think home field advantage is a lot in the playoffs.
This guy, Bucks guy.
And this is coming from a Saints fan. We should be in that spot right now, but whatever. I'm not butthurt.
Would you guys have beat the Eagles?
I don't think so. But I'm taking the Bucks to win this. Oddly, I really think they're going to win this. I think it's going to be a gritty game. I think Baker Mayfield's going to show up somehow.
Okay,
I like that.
You done over there?
That's my spiel.
Fly Eagles fly. Even though they've been injured and not flying as of late, I believe they will take flight in this first round and soar past the Bucks.
Okay. All right. Into the divisional round. Just 8 teams remaining.
Good talk, though. I like the Bucks,
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Good
I can see
argument.
it. Good argument. I can see it.
That was for Chris. You know who you are.
Okay.
Shout out, Chris.
Shout out, Chris.
Chris.
Yeah.
Browns would now be going to the Ravens, and this is what everybody says. The Ravens don't want to run into the Browns, right? What do you guys think? Dave?
Oh, man. Now we're in the second round. Okay.
Oh, yeah, he chose.
I'm going to go... Well, okay. The Ravens, there's no doubt they're the best football team in my mind right now. They're playing the best. As a Dolphins fan, I can sure say so, as we lost by 30-something. Turned the game off in full transparency. But I think this bye actually is going to hurt the Ravens' momentum a little bit.
Before.
Now, I'm still going to pick the Ravens, but I think the first half I look for them to be a little rusty and actually trail in this one and pull it off with a Justin Tucker game-winning field goal.
Wow.
All right. Very specific.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll remember that.
Yeah.
Want to go next?
Yeah.
All right. We all know who the MVP is. It's Lamar.
Yep.
He's that guy.
Wait a minute. Just kidding. Go ahead.
There's no doubt. Look, I think the Ravens roster is absolutely loaded. I do think the Browns, since they play them twice a year,
and already beat them.
Huh?
They've already beaten
them. I think it's definitely going to be a gritty game. I'm going to use that word again.
It's gritty in the playoffs. It's just gritty in
general. I know, but some games are more gritty than
that's just divisional opponent.
AFC North.
And the AFC North is known for being gritty. Yeah. For sure. I got the MVP and Isaiah Likely. That guy's a beast.
Cool. I will likely go with the Ravens as well. In fact, I will fully go with the Ravens.
Okay.
Joey Flacco and the Browns.
Hey!
Will advance to the AFC Championship.
I do not
with
hate
conviction.
that.
And that's with conviction, folks.
Fortunately, that power, you only have so much power today. And we'll not override our votes, but
not bad.
You clearly are a big Browns guy. I mean, we've picked against them twice, so they have a big opportunity to prove us wrong. A lot of people are wrong, I would imagine.
Did you know that Joe Flacco has as many road playoff wins as Tom Brady? Tied for the most of all time.
Give him another one.
I did not know that.
So he has a chance.
Therefore, I'm kidding.
He is switching his vote.
No, I'm not doing it.
Well, hey, he'll get that against Houston, apparently, right?
Not to our liking. So. They think so. Yeah.
All right, the other AFC matchup, it's one we've seen before, and one we've seen in the playoffs a lot. Chiefs at the Bills. Usually we see the Bills having to go to Arrowhead.
Right.
This time the Bills with the higher seed. Mahomes on the road. I'll start us off. I like the Bills. The Bills are hot, man. I think it does come down to the quarterbacks in certain matchups in the playoffs, and I just like what Josh Allen's done on the ground, and I think he limits his turnovers at home and finds a way to escape. Of course, Mahomes is going to make this a game. It's not going to be a blowout on either side. I think we could all agree on that. But I like the Bills here. I think he's got more weapons, and that Bills defense is starting to churn out some wins.
Yeah, I agree with Buffalo. Man, that is just frustrating thinking about, because I thought this was our division, the Dolphins division, and the Bills are just gonna go in here, and I think they're gonna win this one as well. This Chiefs team just doesn't feel right at all to me. I don't know. I mean, I think they're gonna beat us. Don't get me wrong, okay? But I think Mahomes is just gonna have to absolutely put the team on the back, like he has been, and he has done. But I don't know. Something's just missing for them to be like that Super Bowl team we've seen in years past, in my opinion. So I think the Bills are going to actually be in pretty good position here, and they'll ride that hot streak, obviously, that they've been on, and keep it rolling.
All right.
Good points. I'm going Mahomes.
Yeah.
Every time they meet in the playoffs, I'll say the word again. Who's daddy? Okay.
Jeez.
Mahomes just look. You mentioned Josh Allen's turnovers. He's got to fix that.
Yes.
And turnovers in the playoffs are one turnover is two turnovers. It's double. Okay, one interception can put you back 2 possessions. I think in the playoffs, if he's slinging the ball like backyard football, like Josh Allen loves to do. I love Josh Allen, by the way, but he needs to protect the ball. He can't do turnovers, but I still think he will, and that's why I have Mahomes going into Buffalo and winning.
All right.
Dang. Good stuff. Respect to Patrick Mahomes. What's his wife's name?
Brittany.
You guys watch that quarterback thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Good
Yeah,
show.
I watched that whole thing.
Shout out
Pretty
Kirk
interesting.
Cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out
Kirk
Cousins. Kirk,
And Mariota.
Yep.
Shout out Mariota.
Anywho.
Shout out Mahomes, too. What?
Anywho. Respect to Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes. Brittany Mahomes. Taylor Swift and the whole band.
Jackson Mahomes.
Yeah, Jackson Mahomes. Jackson, I know you're watching this. But go Bills. Putting all that to sleep. Good night, Taylor Swift. Go Bills.
All right. So we will have the Bills and the Ravens. 1 seed and 2 seed. How often do we see that? I guess we'll find out.
Oh, boy.
NFC.
Yeah.
We have the 6 seed Rams going up against the 1 seed Niners. Now, the Rams did just beat the Niners last week. Neither team really played anybody. But it's a divisional opponent that have played twice already this year. Niners coming in with a bye. Do the Rams have some momentum after winning in Detroit to take down the Niners? I'm going to say no. I think the Niners are They're good. The Niners are a good football team, and I'm going to pick the Niners.
Yeah.
Good pick. I agree. Niners, bang bang Niner gang. I guess what they say. So I will stick with that. And I like Brock Purdy. Go get it. Go shine.
Yeah, I mean, they're just an absolute juggernaut of a roster. When you can get Chase Young in the middle of the year for what, a third-round pick? Isn't that what they traded for?
It was not
a
fair trade.
Huh?
Team of destiny.
I mean,
49ers are.
It's like so many defensive and offensive weapons already, and then you just throw Chase Young in there.
It's like finding $1,000 bill in the parking lot. It just doesn't happen often.
Yeah. And so what I'm saying is this roster is just too good, and the 49ers will play with a swag that no other team has. They're just
they're good.
Bang bang Niner gang, like you said.
Yep.
Go Niners. Brock Purdy, MVP. Go Niners.
Hopefully you guys heard that at home. See, whispered it.
Oh, sorry.
For some reason.
49ers.
Yep, there we go.
Brock Purdy. Let's go.
Cool. All right. No surprises there. I mean, the Niners, I don't know if anybody's able to stop them. But
Yeah.
Eagles-Cowboys, another divisional matchup. This one's interesting. It's in Dallas. David, you start.
Yeah, it is interesting now that you say it. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Let freedom forever ring.
Okay.
Let it ring.
We will.
It's like the one, the chicken fried song. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, let the flag fly. Yeah. But, so America's team, though, will not be flying. Yeah. America's team will not be flying so high. The Eagles will soar again.
All right, I like that.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on it.
Ooh.
I like the Eagles here, especially because we know what happened. We talked about it. We know what happens to the Cowboys.
Yep.
We think they're good enough to advance through the first round against the Packers. But with a legitimate team in the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, the tush push, they could probably do it all day and still win.
That is such an advantage.
Very true.
Like, it's
Very
crazy.
true.
Give me the
Oh,
Eagles.
that's good.
What you got?
No, I agree with you. Although we know what's going to happen, like, I agree. Like, the Packers should beat the Cowboys first round. Like, the Cowboys come to playoffs. We know what happens to them, but gotta stick with the Cowboys, man.
Okay.
Pledge allegiance to the star, man.
Yeah, his vote does carry a lot of weight here, doesn't it?
Oh, no.
But I'm going the Eagles.
No!
Yes.
Yeah, I think the Eagles win. And I'm sorry, your team's out.
It's all right.
One of your
Fly,
8
Eagles,
teams
fly.
are out.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
All right, we're down to 4. Let's crank these out quick. We got the Ravens versus the Bills. 1 seed versus 2 seed. I'll start it off. I like the Ravens. And I know we may all feel iffy about it. Lamar has not been able to do it yet. Neither's Josh Allen. But I think Josh Allen loses in the AFC Championship for probably, is it third or fourth year he's done so. I just like the Ravens at home. I like their defense a lot. I think Lamar will make more plays than Josh Allen does.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's already risky having the Bills this far with, like you said, Harper, Josh Allen's turnovers. That's the one thing that just kills the Bills, I think. And just by process of elimination, right? If he has good game here, no turnovers, I think eventually he's going to turn into his turnover version. And I think it happens here. And I think the Ravens actually are going to get to the Super Bowl pretty easily in this matchup.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree. Last year was the first year, or one of the first years that both 1 seeds made it to the Super Bowl, right?
True.
I think it's kind of where we're going here with this bracket. The Ravens, I mean, they are good, right?
Yeah.
And again, with Josh Allen, I love Josh Allen. I love the way he plays, and it's fun to watch him, but you have to protect the ball. You can't afford to give Lamar the ball off turnovers because he's going to score either with his legs or with his arms.
Go Bills. Bills Mafia, I love you. Go Bills. Shout out Tori Lavello and Kristen Lavello. Big Bill fans.
They are.
Go Bills.
All right, awesome. Unfortunately, once again, you're shut down here by the Ravens. But,
Yeah.
Hey, he's riding the Bills train, and I don't
Bills
blame him.
Mafia,
I don't blame
yeah.
him. They're hot right now.
They are.
Does anyone want to switch their vote?
I don't.
No, I'm good.
Okay, yeah.
It's a good vote. That's a good vote.
Yeah,
It's a good vote.
NFC, you have the Eagles traveling to San Francisco. A rematch of last year's NFC Championship.
That's right.
But it was in Philly last year. There were quarterback problems for San Francisco last year. Does this one end any differently?
I don't like the chalk that we're doing here. But yeah, I'm going to take the Niners. Look, the Eagles, they've concerned me lately, and obviously they have injuries of their own that are pretty questionable. So I don't know. That's tough. But I'm gonna take the Niners here. Brock Purdy. I think Deebo Samuel steps up big in these type games, and I think they're going to the Super Bowl.
I think you gotta expect the unexpected, folks. I mean, when the NFL playoffs begin, I think last year the 2-1 seeds was unexpected because it just doesn't happen, right?
100%.
Now it feels like it should happen. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
The Eagles are about to go into San Fran, and they're going to win a very good football game.
Oh, no.
And they're going to have quite the road to get there. There's a lot of room for error with my pick. But I like the Eagles here.
Dustin, I would like to go before you because you have the final say. So I'm also going Eagles.
Oh, boy.
Look, if the Eagles get this far, if they get 2 rounds through, they're going to be rolling again. Okay? If there's any other team in the NFC that can compete with the Niners, it's the Eagles. Roster top to bottom, it's the Eagles. I know they're beat up in a few areas, but hey, if Hurts and that team gets their swag back, I'm taking the Eagles. They'll be rolling at that point.
Yeah,
and the Niners and the Eagles, they've had a little rivalry the last couple of years. I think they get the best of them here.
That's crazy. I know I'm the king of crazy picks, but we got many reasons. Jalen Hurts doesn't have a middle finger.
Fair enough.
They got to deal with the buzzsaw of the Bucks in the first round.
I actually rooted against them.
They're only favored by a couple points, and if not, then they're gonna get dominated by Dallas in the next round. If not, the Packers or whoever it may be. But for those reasons, I'm out. 49ers are going.
Yeah.
All right, man. The Niners,
it's chalky, but
that means we have the Niners and the Ravens. Interesting, Harper. You're picking the Eagles to lose round 1, but then supporting them throughout.
What I'm saying is
I understand the momentum.
I definitely do
big
too.
Time.
Yeah.
I see you.
All right. Well, hey, it's a repeat of Super Bowl something. I don't remember the name.
The Power Outage Super Bowl.
Power Outage Super Bowl. Harbaugh brothers at one point.
Yep.
King John Harbaugh followed Jim Harbaugh with a championship of his own just a month later. Ravens, Niners, in Las Vegas. Who you guys got? Harper.
Yeah.
We'll start with you.
I like talking about the Harbaughs here.
Do you?
Sure do. I think the Ravens got the best of the 49ers on Christmas. It was Christmas, right?
Oh, yeah.
They made him look silly. They made Brock Purdy look silly with 4 picks.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah.
All of them. All 4 lucky.
I think it's important to note Brock Purdy versus NFC teams is a much different Brock Purdy than Brock Purdy versus AFC teams. If you look at his record, I don't know off the top of my head, but I remember they showed a graphic on Christmas Day. I was like, whoa, that kind of makes sense. Give me the Ravens again.
All right. Also, Lamar Jackson, insane versus the NFC. I don't know if that's was that what you were saying? Or were you saying Brock Purdy against?
Brock Purdy is much worse against the AFC than he is the NFC.
And I'll tell you, it's even more in the Ravens' favor for Lamar. I
think
he's lost one time to an NFC team ever.
Give me Lamar.
Yeah. Just saying. Just supporting your pick there.
Yep.
Agreement today.
Cool pick, man.
I'm not buying in. The whole NFC, AFC fluke. It's a fluke deal, in my opinion. Football's football. Brock Purdy's great at football. I mean, the 49ers are just elite. Like, you can't argue with that. And then when you find Chase Young in the parking lot like that with no home and they're just handing him out for free, like you just got to think destiny. So, for that reason, 49ers.
I'm still undecided, so I want to hear you go.
Interesting. I'm going Ravens.
Persuade me.
I'm going with the Ravens here. Lamar has just dominated the NFC. I think, obviously, he's never gotten to the point where he's gotten to play the NFC team in the playoffs, so we've never seen it. He's never made it to the Super Bowl. But I do think this team showed me enough Christmas night that they, matchup-wise, it just works out. They found a way to get to Purdy. Purdy, hey, great football player. Man of God. We love the guy, right?
MVP
until he played the Ravens, right?
True.
So this year, this is just what happened. That defense got to him, 4 interceptions. I don't expect that in the Super Bowl. Not at all.
Unlucky.
But
and
I think the Niners will make it a much closer game. But
100%.
I think it is the year of Harbaugh. As much as I don't really like Jim Harbaugh, but that's a whole other discussion.
True.
Right. Okay. Well, when I go off of nerves here, I think there'll be some nerves. Both quarterbacks will have some, right? Lamar Jackson trying to beat the critics of like, he made it here, first of all. Now he's got to finish. Brock Purdy, he has nerves of steel, as far as I can tell. When he came in, I'll never forget it, versus the Dolphins, when Garoppolo went down. He just stood in there. We brought pressure. He's ready for it. He was just dialed in, and I think Purdy is more mentally ready for this than Lamar Jackson. But I think the Ravens have a great roster, and they do have.
But
look, they have a really good team, and they showed it versus the Niners. So I think that's why it was a toss-up in my mind.
Yeah.
But I'm going with the Niners. So bang, bang, Niner gang. We're going all the way. And here's the thing. Last year I predicted Brock Purdy would win Super Bowl MVP. I'm doing it again this year.
Perfect.
Brock Purdy, Super Bowl MVP.
All right. There you go.
Guess we're going Niners.
The Niners win the Super Bowl over the Ravens in Vegas. You guys heard it here first. All right, Dustin, we are excited to hear about your story. A big season coming up. It's your senior year for GCU baseball, a team that has quickly become, the topic of conversation in the national media. I mean, you guys have become a powerhouse program over here on the West Coast. I've had the pleasure of calling some of the games. I've had the pleasure of calling Dustin Crenshaw. I mean, you've been a stud in these first 3 years, and now you've really become a leader coming into your senior year, right? Not only in the clubhouse, but a spiritual leader that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But tell me about how these first 3 years have gone at GCU. I'm assuming it's been just a blessing to be a part of this program. And then also, as we look forward, what do you expect from this 2024 squad?
Dang, it's a pretty hefty introduction, but thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Man, the past 3 years, they've been great. I mean, you kind of just reflect on baseball and just everything that has came about, and I would describe it as like an amazing roller coaster. I've been super thankful for it. But obviously, there's a lot of ups and downs involved in the game of baseball, but I think I've just been so satisfied with God and the whole thing, and he's really come to be my rock when initially it didn't really work that way. Had a lot of other ways to cope, but
sure,
I think obviously you walk through things, you walk through a lot of trials that the game of baseball will throw at you, but I've definitely been super blessed to be able to find God and know God, and to call Jesus my Savior is really the honor of my life.
You talk about it. I mean, I've been waiting to get a baseball player on here, man. It's one of my favorite sports out there, but it is seriously such a tough sport to play. I mean, you fail more often than not. We talk about it often, how you can fail 7 times out of 10 and you're a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
In the MLB. So there's just so much failure, and it can get to your head. And, I mean, once that headspace is out of there, it's going to get even worse in baseball. So when in this journey of GCU baseball, when did God kind of start to find his way into the story?
Good question. You guys feel free to bombard me with questions, but
absolutely,
I will.
Yeah, don't worry.
Sure will.
But freshman year wasn't really. He was there, but he definitely wasn't on the forefront as he is for me now. He wasn't important to me. Obviously, I would claim myself as a Christian, but he wasn't my everything, and I wasn't committing my life fully to him in the way that I should have.
Yeah.
But I think sophomore year was definitely the year for me that I definitely realized I needed to start turning things around, and that's where God spoke to me in some pretty I want to say, intense ways, unlike ever before. And I knew that I had to make a decision, and I knew that the decision was Jesus has to be everything for me. But I think my sophomore year was that year where it really became crystal clear that I had to devote everything to him.
You mentioned intense ways he spoke to you. Do you mind to elaborate a little bit more?
Oh, yeah. Man, I mean, I don't know how much time we have, but I can go
plenty. As much time as you want.
Yeah.
We got unlimited time?
All right. We're here for.
All right. I'll just open up and say, I think freshman year was a little bit of a whirlwind for me, I guess, sin-wise. It's probably at an all-time high for me, and it wasn't really a problem. Didn't have any problems with it. There was nothing really, there's no conviction for me. Everything felt fine. It was all good. Mm-hmm. And obviously baseball was going pretty good, so winning WAC championships and whatnot. So I didn't really find anything wrong with what I was doing.
Sure.
But beginning of sophomore year, what was going on? We were Pitbull concert.
Okay.
Pitbull concert. The boys are going.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like the lingering stages of COVID where it's still around, but everyone's still kind of just hanging out, so it's all good. And I don't know why I remember the details so good, but it's like Monday or Tuesday, I'm not feeling too hot. I'm like, man, I feel kind of sick. Who cares? I'll just keep pushing through it. Bought the ticket for Pitbull on Saturday. I'm like, all right, Pitbull, I'm going. All right. All the boys, let's get it. And then, go through practice, keep getting worse. And by Friday, I was like, dude, this is the worst I've ever felt. Didn't go to practice. And I was just literally shivering in my bed all day, sick as can be. Worst decision of my life. Come Saturday, the guys come into the room. They're like, "Hey, man, you bought the ticket. You gotta come to Pitbull with us." And I was like, you know what? Mind over matter. Let's do this thing.
Gotta love the college peer pressure.
Decide to hydrate myself in not the wisest way.
Yeah.
Go to Pitbull. Worst experience of my entire life. I mean, I forget what time it is. Probably September, maybe later times, but it's hot. It's hot. It's 105.
Oh yeah.
And I'm shivering ice cold.
Oh my goodness.
Shivering like ice. It's the coldest. I'm like an icicle. And I was miserable. And I knew a couple of my buddies. They're like, "Oh, you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I called my buddy, my roommate. Shout out Brian Webb. Maybe he watches this. Maybe he doesn't. But shout out Brian Webb. Called him. Said, "Dude, I need help. I'm so cold right now. I feel sick. I need you." Pulls up. Goated friend Brian Webb. Thank you, man. Pulls up. Got me. Takes me back. Next morning, get the COVID test. And long story short, how you have COVID, you get kicked out. I tail it home, go home, and then I'm like, this sucks, whatever, being sick and whatnot. But dang, this is where things kind of went off the rails of unexpected things happening. But it just took a turn downwards that I never really thought was possible. If I could just bounce back, this is the worst it could be. I'm gonna get better. But then things just got way worse. That week, the next week, just a bad turn that I can't even really describe into words how bad it got. But the only thing I can say is I weigh 190 right now, and I got down to less than 150.
Wow.
Had to go to the hospital and whatnot. I mean, I have memory from that, but obviously it's a hard thing to kind of relive and rethink about. But
yeah,
all I know is I was coming back. It took about, I figure, probably a month and a half to fully kind of recover from the whole thing. But I remember 3 weeks into feeling better, I got on a scale and I was 151. So I was like, "Dad," I was like, how skinny did I get? And he was like, "You don't want to know." But I came back. I ended up coming back a month and a half, probably after the Pitbull incident. And the guys were like, "What happened to you? You're so skinny." And I was like, I didn't even realize it because I was just sitting around in the bed all day. But you kind of don't realize how much that kind of takes an effect on your body before you lay in a bed for a month. So that was tough. That was tough going, but a lot of good came from it.
Do you want to elaborate on how God did kind of enter that in that season?
Yeah, I mean, that was tough. I mean, it's kind of crazy. You kind of just think back or just step outside of my shoes and realize dang, that must have sucked so bad. But I think the coolest moment for me was it was however many weeks into it, and I got back from the hospital and I was on the ventilator at my house. I got to take one home, and I love that thing. That thing was great because I could just breathe on my own for every week, but then my mom was like, "Yeah, we got to try to kind of breathe on your own for now." But then I was like, "No, I don't want to do that. I want the ventilator. It feels so good. It's easy to breathe."
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just there. That was such a struggle, man. I mean, my lungs had no capacity to breathe or do anything. My exercise for the day was literally just standing up. I would take a walk, 10 steps. I couldn't even walk. I would walk 10 steps, be out of breath, and have to sit back down. But I mean, in the midst of all that and how terrible that was, it was never forget it. I'm just obviously praying through this time, because when you get weak and desperate, it's kind of only one place to go. But in this time, I mean, it was really cool because I knew for a long time he'd been speaking to me that I needed to read the Bible because I had never done it. I was saying I had read, oh yeah, I know that, but I had never done it. But he'd been putting it on my heart for a long time to actually read, because I had never up until that point. But yeah, I started to open up and read just pages of Matthew for a week or so, and even amidst the pain, that was just weirdly the most peace I've ever felt, even though I literally couldn't move or breathe on my own without pain. That was the most peace I've ever felt. And then that's kind of when I knew there's something different about God that has never been different than my previous thought about him or a relationship with him.
Yeah.
Man,
dude, love that.
That's interesting. And I would say one thing real quick, sometimes he's got to break you down, right? And
totally.
Shoot, you hate to see that you got broken down in that physical of a way. And that was scary and probably not fun for a lot of people, right? But sometimes he has to break you down and make you realize that you are you do need him,
right?
And it is funny how, when people need things, that's when they'll go to God. But I feel he taught you a real lesson, and now I'm sure this is clearly your testimony, but you're glad that happened. Yeah. As crazy as that sounds to other people that don't know God.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because, I mean, man, that wasn't even close to the worst of it, if that's even imaginable. But I could go into a little depth, but I mean, everybody has their biggest fear, right? And mine was getting a needle in the arm. I was dude, I would never ever get that. You'll have to fight me.
Yeah.
An IV? Is that,
or a shot,
blood drawn, anything with a needle. I was can't do it. But then man, was I mistaken, because that was turned out being my livelihood for the next 6 months post recovery.
Yeah. I
had to go in for all sort of blood draws, and the first time it was not a pretty scene, but it was so tough for me, man. That was the hardest part of it, because all right, I'm done, I feel better, I can walk on my own and breathe on my own. But then it's oh, you got to go in and draw some blood, and I was dude, no chance. But I mean, at that point I was so weak, and I'd we didn't know what was wrong with me, because obviously we knew it was COVID, but I had to go in, get my blood drawn, 3 different blood draws. Cool. And then anyways, the results are supposed to come back in a week, and they said that they accidentally spilled the blood, and they're
oh gosh,
we're gonna need you to run it back. And I was just talk about
you're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah, talk about breaking me down, but just doing that, and then you got to go back, do it 3 times again.
Wow.
In the hospital,
yeah.
a lot of times. And I mean, dude, like, I literally remember, like, just, like, shaking and, like, crying, you know, just, like, really, really hard stuff that I never thought I could get that week, you know. And then just, like, going forward, it's just, like, we need you to do it again, you know. And I'm like, cool. And it's the same every time, man. Like, it never gets easy.
Yeah.
But then you talked about the IV, but, like, thankfully that was, like, the biggest step to my recovery. Like, I think come February, right before the season, I was still struggling. Like, I was kind of got a little bit of size back, but I was feeling, like, super kind of out of it, like, kind of just no energy, you know, that sort of feeling. But then I got connected with a naturopath doctor, and I was doing IVs 3 times a week, and that was, like, kind of everything for me, because I really had, like, no energy, no drive to do anything. Like, although I was back, like, playing fall and, like, doing baseball stuff, I was just, like, so out of it. But then I did do the IVs for I think 2 months, but 2 to 3 times a week. And I mean, that was, like, pretty costly, so shout out to my parents for even being able to fund that, because that was, like, not a cheap thing to do.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it was just a whole perspective change, man. Like, every time I'd go in, I sit down and there's 10 cancer patients right next to me doing the same thing, man.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, man, look where I've come. And, like, these people don't get to go back to GCU and playing baseball or doing something. Like, these people are not in a good spot.
Yeah.
So it was just different, man. God took me to a place that I never thought was even imaginable and broke me down in a lot of places. But I would never wish that suffering upon anybody. But, man, I was grateful for it, and I'm still grateful for it because I needed it.
Amen.
Yeah. I mean, what a testimony right there, right? I mean, I feel like everybody has a certain point in their story where it just feels like they're counted out, or it's life's just so hard and there's so much going on, and that's where God does the miracles. He does the work.
Right.
And what I love about your story specifically is he didn't just, like, cure you right away. Like, it wasn't like, all right, you're good, you know, I'm just going to heal you, restore you completely, perfect, you know, on that day. Right. But I think he changed your heart, and he started to change you into more of, to see things from a different perspective and to see things his way of, like, hey, this is happening for a reason. There's a bigger purpose.
Right.
And I think that's very relatable to a lot of people, because, I mean, we hear it all the time. You know, people ask why a good God would allow evil or allow bad things to happen. Right. And, man, sometimes it's just what we need. Like, to be able to be closer to Jesus himself, to be able to draw near to him, sometimes we have to be broken. And I think it's so cool that he knows how to break us. And he allows that suffering, not just to see us suffer, but for a purpose and for a reason. And clearly it changed your life.
Right.
And looking back, like, you probably would have never thought you'd be sitting here and saying, yeah, I'm thankful for that.
Right.
You know? But look at you now, you're healthy.
Right.
You know, you're playing baseball and you're getting to live out your life that God intended you to live with him. And that's awesome, man, and super encouraging.
Thanks, man.
And something that God's kind of put on my heart right now is, like, man, we do think about that sometimes, just the bad things that are happening to us. But when we ascend up to heaven after a life well lived, are we going to look back on those moments and think they're bad? I just don't think we are. I think as you said, you look back and you're grateful for your moments. Right. So it is crazy how in the present we can think it's bad, but I don't think that's ever been the purpose. I think God's, you know, he's awaiting us in heaven, and he's going to say, now look back. It was never bad. It was all part of the plan. And I think that's just so cool to think about, and tough to think about in the present, but just part of the battle of living for the Lord.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's so good, because, I mean, just, like, it's hard to kind of just, like, explain, but, like, a couple of my teammates kind of know just, like, who I was before that year, and just, like, kind of before and after, because I know, like, my devotion for it, but obviously, like, there appears a difference with me, just, like, what I choose to partake in and what not to anymore. Like,
Brother,
why don't you do that anymore, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on. I mean, us three.
You're talking
we
to...
had the same freshman year you had.
Right.
I don't know. You probably don't know that, but our viewers might. But we had the same freshman year you had, and I think we see ourselves in you. So
absolutely,
that's cool.
There's
part of the journey.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm wow. Excuse me. I'm interested. So getting back into the swing of things after that hard phase and that hard season, getting back into baseball and school. Where was God in all that? And what were the conversations that you're having with him, the prayers? What were the things you were wrestling with?
This past year or prior?
Or after that when all this happened?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. It was a learning curve, and I think it was intentional to be that way. And I think that's like, God has just used that in me, especially now within like, just counseling like younger guys that are trying to walk this walk with Jesus, like, and walking through that learning curve of like my sophomore year and junior year of like, all right, what's good for me, what's bad for me, and what does God want to get rid of in me? And it's cool because like I hadn't really prayed that prayer ever until maybe like a year ago, and even now such a great prayer that I've been praying lately is, God, show me what you detest in me and what you want gone, But it's cool. I wish I would have prayed that then, because it was really a tough thing. Obviously I knew God wanted way more and way different out of me, but I was like not sure. It was really tough to kind of battle through the things of like, obviously like as males being in college, like sexual sin, such a big thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, how do I get out of this, and like, how do you navigate with the enemy kind of just like feeding you little tidbits? And then same with, drinking alcohol. That was probably one of the toughest things for me. Like, I never thought that I'd be a quote unquote alcoholic, but I mean, you get to a point where it's like, is being sober like boring? And I was like, do I need alcohol that bad? And that was the case for me. I was like, this is just like something I never thought was possible. And that was there for me like all of my sophomore year, and it was a battle, but I think the biggest thing that I've taken away from that and just like preached to a couple of guys that have asked me for like one-on-one help of like, how do I stop this, is like, man, our strength is never going to be enough. And that's what I kind of slowly but surely figured out, like, my strength will never be enough. But it's hard because I'm like, you grow up as an alpha, as a male athlete, and it's like, you can do everything. You're tough, you're strong, you can do it all.
Come on.
But for me, I was just like, man, I'm not enough. I'm really not. And I mean, the only thing that made me able to stop doing these horrible things was like just inviting Jesus in, because you get desperate. You're like, dude, I'm sick of fighting this fight.
Yeah.
I'll just ask Jesus to come in and give me some strength.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like, oh wow, I got this strength out of nowhere. How'd that happen?
Yeah.
Like, oh, ironic, or maybe Jesus supplies us strength.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Oof. I kind of think back to a scene from God's Not Dead. All right. When you're talking about how your freshman year, you weren't convicted that what you were doing was really that wrong, right? It's just kind of, it's that scene from where the son is talking to his very elderly mother who has dementia, so she can't usually forgets who he is, and he's like not a follower whatsoever. He's like, Mom, talking to her, not expecting an answer because he doesn't usually get an answer from her. Saying, Mom, like, why are you so happy and joyous when you're suffering right now? And I'm living an amazing life, and I don't follow God at all. And she goes along the lines of, this is just paraphrasing, but just saying, the devil sometimes will just let you be. Like, he'll let you enjoy your life in sin, and not make you feel it because it's better than following the Lord in his eyes, right?
You're right.
So I think that the devil totally uses that tactic on many people, and just allows them to live in sin without repercussions.
The blindness.
Yeah. And I believe he's done a great job of convincing people he's not even real.
Amen.
I mean,
amen.
Like, when you look at culture today, you see all this stuff that's like normalized, that even 20, 30 years, like the truths of culture and the ways of culture, that wasn't normal back then. It's like continuing to change and honestly move further and further away from the Bible. And man, it's like when you accept Christ, I've experienced this, and one of the first things I was told, which I'm so thankful for, is that it's going to be a battle. Yeah. Like now you're in the fight, right? It's not beforehand. It was like I'm doing my own convictions, I'm doing my own way, and I wouldn't feel convictions on certain things. Now it's battle, right? It's that there's an enemy who knows you're on the right path, and it's funny how that works. Yeah, you know, he's showing that he's real and that there is a real enemy, that there is a real God. And, man, it's such a battle that I think a lot of people wouldn't understand. I didn't understand it until I accepted Christ, right? I thought living for Christ was boring, and it was, you know, all these things, following a ton of rules, everything like that. But, man, it's been a journey. It's been everything you could ask for, the highs and the lows. Like, we talk about it, one of your lowest lows ended up being a high you look back on.
Yeah, for sure.
So can you just describe kind of your walk with Christ since those moments, those highs and lows, what you've learned, and what is God teaching you right now? Right.
Yeah, that's great. That's so good. I love that. Yeah, you just reflect back, and like I said earlier, like it's never a linear thing. I love to tell like guys that I'm maybe like counseling in their walk, like, dude, it is not this linear walk, and understand that it'll never be easy till the day we die. Yeah, it'll never be easy. But I mean, wow, that's so good. As in, I can't help but think back. Senior named Brock Burton. He was like sorry, but yeah, he was a really good leader for our team and me. But he brought up the spiritual warfare and like, hey, the devil's real. And I was like, what? Are you serious? I never even thought about it. I was like, I know God. I didn't believe in God, but you know, the devil's actually real. You know, and I heard that the first time. But now it's like kind of full scale. I'm a senior, but now it's actually like, until you read, and you're like, dang, this stuff is real. And you look back and you're like, dang, was he tricking me and tripping me up back then, you know? Yeah. But amen to that. Yeah, sorry, I was just thinking about that. Yeah. Shout out Brock Burton. Amazing guy. Real estate guy now, I think so. Need a house, hit him up. But yeah, I think the past 2 years have been so great. Obviously, like sophomore year was rough for me because my faith was really my own and I didn't want anybody to know about it. And then junior year was kind of just like my first year of like feeling the conviction of like, I'm not just a secret agent Christian. Like I have to walk this thing out and talk about it. It can't just be my own thing that I never.
You had to be maybe super bold about it.
Yeah. Super bold podcast. Yeah, literally. Yeah,
light bulb.
Like, I'm not the brightest viewer. No. Not the smartest student. But yeah, I was like, dang, I was feeling the like heavier convictions there, and I was like, yeah, people are watching you now. Like, you can't just do this thing in private and be your own little thing like I used to do. Sinful things back in the past. Like, you got to bring this thing to the light, man. But yeah, last year was so great for me. Just like consistency wise, like realizing what I need to do consistently with my readings, with my prayer, and like what that kind of looked like, because I never done it before. I had not read the Bible front to cover before, so that was like an awesome step that I was able to do.
It's awesome.
And then man, I can't say enough about FCA, and they've really done everything for me. Harper, you've been a couple times yet?
A couple times,
yeah. But man, FCA, Kelly Schmidt, Emmy Whitlow, my girlfriend, she's great too. But man, FCA has been everything for me, because I used to just show up, and I mean, low points of being hammered on a weekday and just walking in there and just listening. But then for those two to reach out to me and actually like pursue me as an individual in the same way that like God reached out to me was like really everything, because I was able to talk to them and they're able to kind of like mentor me and kind of call me up in a regard. So that was really special to me. They're still special to me, and forever will be special to me. But
now when we were meeting up a couple of days ago, you told Dorman and I that you had an opportunity to speak at FCA.
Oh, yeah.
Share your testimony. Can you talk about that a little bit?
On that, as we were walking over here, we ran into another Super Bowl athlete, Krista Rowan.
Yep.
And she said, "Oh, Dustin's testimony was so awesome, so touching." And we've heard that from multiple people now, but yeah. I mean, how did that go? And I know we're kind of wrapping this up right now, but how did that go? And have you been able to take that big moment and kind of into smaller moments with other young athletes and young baseball players on the team?
Yeah, that was a special day for me, for so many reasons. But that was like later in the spring semester of last year.
Yeah.
But sure enough, I've never spoken before. I dodged like an English class. Like we had like a final, and it was like speak for like 100 points, like 5 minutes, and I just dodged it because I was that terrified of speaking. But it was just God in me, man. He was just calling me to, number one, that entire year, just like, you can't keep this thing a secret anymore. And then obviously, like, with the help of Kelly Schmidt, Emmy Whitlow, just like, hey, do you want to do this? Like, we know kind of like what you went through, but like, do you want to like share? Like, obviously I give you guys like a brief rundown, but like in an hour-long depth of like everything I've been through and where God has been. But yeah, that was a super special day. And I mean, what an honor it was for people to take away something from that and grab something on or whatever they took from it. But man, I was just speaking from the heart, talking about what God has done for me. And just like, man, that was such a liberating experience, because I'd never been more nervous for anything in my life. Like any game, I was like, dude, I can't control myself, man. But I mean, sure enough, it just said a prayer before, and I was like, God, let me be a vessel. Let me just surrender everything, surrender the nerves, all of it, man. Just pray that you can work through this. And sure enough, he did. And I was just very satisfied that people were able to take something away from it.
Amen.
Love it. You mentioned it twice about once you experience Christ, you can't keep it secret.
Right.
You gotta bring it to the light. And I know all of us here, we're still growing and learning our faith, but we're convicted of that. We're convicted of telling the world about what God's done in our life and who Jesus is. And I encourage any of you guys watching this, if you're in a similar boat, think about it from the perspective of the non-believers in the world. We have the greatest gift in the entire universe. Amen. We know who the creator and sustainer of life is, and he changed our lives radically. It's our job to tell everyone about who he is and what he can do for them.
Amen. And we wouldn't be 26 episodes into this if the Lord wasn't speaking through us.
Absolutely.
Right. So when you're in that moment and you're like, I can't do this, then don't. Let the Lord do it, because let me tell you, he's done it consistently for me, and he's done it consistently for all of us.
Yeah.
Amen.
He will absolutely take over if you need him to.
Yeah. And that's the way it's best, right?
Yeah.
We're imperfect. He's perfect, though.
Amen.
So, and also if you feel those nerves, I think there's a good thing with having them of like you care, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you want to represent Christ well. But man, know that when you take that step, I had a similar experience in one of my classes. I was able to share my testimony. Same thing, right? Cool. Like scared to death to speak. Wouldn't raise my hand for anything. But stepping out and doing that, man, it was able to allow people to see the Lord working, because they knew I was shy. They knew I was nervous. They knew this was something like I didn't necessarily want to do. But people, like, that way you can just give the credit upward to where it belongs. It's easy, because when people know us and know who we are, like, they know the changes that are done in us can't be done by ourselves,
Right.
So, man, I just encourage everybody, step out this week, whatever that looks like. And it could even be just inviting somebody to church, right? Just come and see. If people are asking about your faith in any way, just invite them to church, invite them to Bible Back Church. And man, I believe a lot of lives can be changed through people who are just willing. That's it, right? It doesn't take any qualifications. Right. It doesn't take being perfect. It takes just being willing.
Yeah. Amen. All right, Dustin, thank you so much for coming on, man. As we wrap up here, what do you want to tell the people? Do they need to pull up and watch some games this year or what?
I would say yeah.
Really?
I'm
really
excited.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Come out to the Lopes games. No, we got a lot of Lopes fans early spring, but April, May, June, that's when the real Lopes fans come out. So April, May, June, when the students go home, I know you guys got to go your separate ways, but April, May, June.
We may be there. Yeah.
That's when the real stuff's going down. So we need all the real Lopes supporters to be either tuning in or coming out to the ballpark April, May, June.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's gonna be another great team, and now you know that there's at least one man that is on fire for the Lord that we know firsthand is spreading that through the clubhouse. So all the more reason to root these guys on. And hey, if you need to watch it on TV, maybe I'll be there. Maybe Michael Potter, one of our past guests, will be on there. I mean, we got the full GCU family of Christ followers covering this GCU baseball team. So with that being said, thanks so much for tuning in. Longer episode, but man, was it good. Thanks so much for watching. We love you guys.